going on, everybody? Welcome inside the Muskogee Brewing Company. Jacob Toby alongside my partner, the most handsome man in all of Oklahoma, Deion Amade, former OSU safety. What's going on, my man?
Man, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
He told me to say that, so I had to say it. New show called The Endzone. We're going to be starting here on Bravado Wireless, talking Oklahoma football, right? We're going to go college. We're going to go high school. We're going to talk about some alumni that are in the NFL right now. We're going to kind of talk about a lot of different stuff.
Yeah, it should be fun. I mean, football is the king here in Oklahoma.
Of course.
Along within this area, so to speak. So we get to dive in and talk about the details of it a little bit.
We do. And we're on Facebook Live. We're on YouTube. So if you want to comment, let me know. I got my phone up right here. So if you have any questions, let us know. We're going to go about 30 minutes with some breaks in between. So hopefully you can stay along with us for the whole ride. So let's get right into it. I know you played at OSU. We're going to start with the Sooners, though. I'm sorry.
Why would you do that?
Because that's how we did the rundown.
Oh.
Okay. So we're going to start with the Sooners.
Just making sure. Just clarifying.
Don't get mad at me, sir. Don't get mad at me, sir. They did score 70 versus South Dakota on Saturday. Okay. Most of that due to Jalen Hurts coming over from Alabama, right? 26-2 rather. As a starter at Alabama, transfers over to Oklahoma through 2 games, leads the nation in quarterbacks and rushing.
Right.
Has the highest passer rating in the country.
Not too shabby.
Not too shabby at all. Oklahoma had 800-plus yards versus South Dakota, and he was one of the main reasons why I think people are starting to talk about him as a serious Heisman candidate. Yeah. Do you actually think he can win the Heisman this year? This would be Oklahoma's 3rd straight Heisman, of course. Baker Mayfield in 2017, Kyler Murray in 2018. Can Lincoln Riley do it again for the 3rd straight time?
I mean, 3 in a row. I feel like it's asking a lot. But, I mean, if you look at Jalen Hurts, though, and see kind of the things that he's been doing, the numbers that he's putting up, he has the stats to do it. And I think going throughout the year, he will, accumulate those numbers where it looks good to the voters, it looks good to the viewers, where you're saying he should be a Heisman frontrunner. Now, the key is, and you know this, with this day and age of football, Heisman doesn't always, go to the best player, so to speak. Sometimes it's the person who's the best player on the best team. Your team has to at least be top 10. Because the way they see it is like, if you're that good, then your team should be that good. So will his team be in the top 10 when it's all said and done to kind of give him that little nudge?
I would almost guarantee that they'll be in the top 10.
You think so?
Do you not think so?
I mean, the Big 12 is wide open this year. There's no telling what's going to happen there.
I wouldn't call it wide open.
What would you call it?
I would say Oklahoma's the favorite. I think Texas is sort of the next, and then there's a group where you have your Cowboys.
Whoa, so you're saying we're not up there with OU and Texas as far as
this is definitely a totally different discussion than what we're trying to have about Jalen Hurts. But yes, I do think that Oklahoma State does have potential to win the Big 12. But I think as of right now, it kind of goes Oklahoma, Texas, Oklahoma State, maybe Baylor. It kind of just depends.
Okay, I can get with you that way. But so in my opinion,
we agree there. That's not always going to happen.
In my opinion, I do believe Jalen Hurts does have the potential to be a Heisman winner for the Oklahoma Sooners, the 3-time winning for the Sooners.
Yeah. First time that would ever happen.
Exactly. So I think, yes, there's an opportunity there. Do you, on the other hand, think so?
I do. I just think it's also going to be super hard to challenge the likes of Tua Tagovailoa from Alabama.
True.
And when you take a look at some of the other guys around, you talk about Trevor Lawrence from Clemson, who is a national champion, who some people
he's the darling of college football.
Yeah, he's the darling of college football. So I think when you talk about quarterbacks, you have to mention Tua, you have to mention Trevor Lawrence. If Texas has a good year, I think Sam Ehlinger could definitely be in that conversation as well if he puts up.
You mean Tebow light?
Decent stat.
That young Tebow?
Yes, young Tebow. Sure, young Tebow. But I do think that if Oklahoma finishes and they go to the playoff, that it's definitely something that they have to consider because his stats are so good. Right? Like I said before, he leads all QBs in rushing, helps Oklahoma to 800 yards per South Dakota. His QB rating, 252. Baker in his best season with Oklahoma was 198, and Kyler was 199. I get it's 2 games, and I get it's Houston, and I get it's South Dakota.
Right.
But this is sort of the style that Lincoln Riley wants to play, and it only will get better from here, I would assume.
So let me ask you this question, though. You just listed off the QB ratings of all those two previous Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks for OU. Now, let this be the question. Will the voters get tired of seeing an OU quarterback being the Heisman winning player for college football? Will politics play a role in this, where voters say we can't vote another OU guy, even though if he's the best player, if he's not, just the fact that he's another OU guy, will they leave him out just because of that?
I'm inclined to say no, because that could have been the case last year.
But two is a
wow. But two, it only happened once, and that was Navy back in the 40s.
Yeah.
So they could have said, no, we're not going to do that, but they had to go with the best player, and it was obviously Kyler Murray.
Right.
So I do think that Jalen Hurts has a decent chance of doing it.
But I feel like if it's two back-to-back, oh, wow. If it's three, okay, now we're getting redundant here. So I feel like that it would go against him in the fact that they have two previous Heisman-winning quarterbacks.
So if you had to bet your money on it, would you say that he doesn't win the Heisman?
If I had put money on it, I'm saying he doesn't get it. I say they find a way to get another individual that Heisman Trophy, or at least I think he makes it to the Heisman Trophy winning ceremony.
Yeah, is he a finalist? Is he a finalist? One of the three?
He's especially if he puts up the numbers that he's on track to putting up, definitely. But do I think he will win it? No. There's a chance he could. He will be a finalist, but I don't think he will.
All right. We also have to talk about the state of the Big 12. Maybe that's for another show, where your Cowboys rank. Maybe in a couple weeks when they get into the actual.
That means y'all got to come back and watch.
Oh, yeah. when they get back and play some more meaningful games. Quickly on the OU defense, abysmal in 2018. They're the worst passing defense in all of college football in 2018. This year they've looked pretty good. They got 3 turnovers versus OU, versus South Dakota last week. How much can this defense improve under new D coordinator Alex Grinch?
Here's the thing, because I watched the Houston game, and I watched that thoroughly, and I think all of us were, trying to pay attention to see if that defense was, improved. And I feel like in that game, they did look improved. For the fact of the matter is Grinch, he simplified some stuff.
He does.
He allowed these players and these athletes to run free, not have too much to think about, just see ball, hit ball, go attack. You know your assignment. All right, get it and go. You could see from, Bookie Radley
Boogie Radley Hiles.
Yeah, he was coming off the edge all the time. He's just
5-star guy who had a terrible freshman year.
Well, I wouldn't say terrible. Just a learning curve there, because you come in from California, you think you're going to be the guy. You don't understand Big 12 football and what you got to play against.
Okay, fine.
So this year it seems like they're putting him in a situation where all he has to do is come off the edge. And he's not playing a lot of man-to-man. They're pretty much putting him in at that nickelback kind of safety. Murray looks, excellent. He took off the neck roll, and he's coming downhill, and he's playing faster than we've ever seen him play before. Has these players improved? Yes. Has this defense improved because of the simple fact of the defense is a little bit simplified for them? I believe so. But the question is, can they improve throughout the season? I don't know if that's the case right there. I don't know. When they start having to install more, complicated defenses, play better teams, will they be able to sustain the improvement they were seeing in these first 2 games?
I mean, I love what Alex Grinch has done. Like you said, it's simplified. He's brought a new energy. He's a younger guy. I think he connects well to those guys. He's a player's coach. But it's really good to see Bookie Radley Hiles get an interception last week, because they need him on the outside. They need him doing what he does. You got Trey Brown and Patrick Fields in the defensive backfield as well, both Tulsa guys, which is great to see if you're from Tulsa or you're watching from Tulsa and you like to see that. Kenneth Murray was an absolute beast versus Houston, and that's great to see. Obviously, he was the preseason Big 12 Player of the Year, so he's really important. Neville Gallimore's taken a step up. He's a team captain this year, so there is potential, I should say, for the OU defense. It's going to depend on when they run into, Spencer Sanders and Tylan Wallace, or some of the other, Big 12 teams that have capabilities, but I think it's pretty much safe to say that they will improve from a season ago where they were last in passing defense. And if they get into the top 70, that's enough to win a playoff game, in my opinion, with the offense that they have.
Top 70?
Top 70.
No, I
Top
feel
70.
like no. To win a playoff game, we're
Top
talking about
70.
No. We're literally talking about the 4 best teams in the nation. To win a playoff game, your defense at least has to be in the top 50.
With the okay, you know what? Maybe this year. Last year, I don't know if I would agree with that, just because you had Kyler Murray, and the season before that, you had Baker. Maybe the offense takes a little bit of a step back, and you could have had that top 70 defense win you a playoff game, but maybe not this year. I would go as far as that.
Wait, so are you saying that Jalen Hurts isn't the caliber quarterback that Kyler and Baker were?
Oh no, I think that's pretty much known countrywide. I think. Obviously, Kyler Murray is the number 1 pick in the NFL draft.
Right.
Jalen Hurts will not be the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. Baker Mayfield was the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. Jalen Hurts will not be the number 1 pick in the draft.
That kind of goes into a different discussion that, the players that you're going against in the draft. I mean, he's got, like, in this potential draft, you pitch Tua, Jake Fromm from Georgia. Those are the type of guys that he's going against. I don't think Kyler or Baker had to go up against those caliber of quarterbacks to be number 1 picks in the draft. I think Jalen Hurts could possibly move himself up to be the 3 or 2 prospect in the draft, and that's saying a lot, especially the competition that he's going up against. But I still believe that he's one of the top players in the country, and he is on the same level. I mean, by the time all this is said and done, and if we're predicting the same things that we're saying right now, where he's going to be a Heisman candidate and a finalist, that I think he will be on par with these 2 quarterbacks from the past. So this defense is going to need to take it another step further, because they got to the same place with Kyler. They got to the same place with Baker. The only thing that was holding them back was the defense. They need to make a jump forward if they want to be a legitimate contender in the playoffs.
All right, we'll see what happens. Anthony Lewis on Facebook says, redundant all you want, but if Jalen Hurts is the best, then he's the best this season. He will win the Heisman. So we got people coming in saying their opinion.
And to answer that question, politics comes into play. Like, think about it. When you're picking a bowl game, like we don't want to think about it, but teams get picked in a bowl game on if you're winning, if you're good, and if your fans travel. Because the bigger bowl games, the more fans they want to see there. Politics comes into college football, believe it or not.
All right, we'll see what happens. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we're talking your Cowboys, Oklahoma State. We'll also talk some TU football as well. They're going to go at it this weekend.
Sounds good.
We pumped about that?
Yeah.
We'll take a break, come right back here at the Muskogee Brewing Company. Stay with us.
Hi, we're Bravado Wireless. You may have seen us at your local events and wondered just exactly what we do. We provide the highest quality cell phone service, specializing in outstanding coverage, both locally and nationwide. We're headquartered right here in Oklahoma, with multiple store locations in eastern Oklahoma. We provide the most affordable, unlimited talk, text, and data plans available. For a limited time, our unlimited plan is only $40 a month, and you can receive a free LG K30. Make sure you stop in now and enjoy our other amazing summer deals before they end. Visit Bravado Wireless store locations for all other details, or go to bravadowireless.com for more information. We are Bravado Wireless, and we believe in the power of connection.
You are called to be bold, to connect in your home, to your community, and to the world. From your land, we are Bravado Wireless. We are your high-speed internet provider based right here in eastern Oklahoma. With the latest technology, we offer coverage in more underserved areas than ever, with 4G LTE speeds and no installation needed. We're faster and more reliable than the competition, and at $59.99 a month, we're more affordable too. Bravado Wireless. We believe in the power of connection.
All right, and welcome back to the Muskogee Brewing Company. Jacob Toby alongside former OSU safety Deion Amati. We talked OU. Now let's talk some OSU. They beat McNeese State 56-14 on Saturday. They're 2-0 to start their season. Mike Gundy goes with Spencer Sanders as his starter in Game 1 and in Game 2. We had talked in another media location, I should say, on another media program about who you think Mike Gundy should start, and this was before the season. You told me go with the experience. Drew Brown, I think it was 26 starts out of Hawaii, something like that.
How many people have you been talking to? I said Spencer Sanders.
No, you didn't. You said Drew Brown.
I said Spencer Sanders.
Want me to pull up the tape right now?
Yes, pull it up. I remember because everybody was asking me throughout the week, and I said I gave a.
I will actually expose you right now. It's on Twitter. You said
pull it up.
You said Drew Brown.
Pull it up. I said Spencer Sanders.
Here, keep talking for a
second.
second.
I'm telling you guys. The question was,
I'm going to pull it up
which
right now for you.
And I said, there's Drew Brown. You choose from the more experienced guys, or Spencer Sanders, who has a higher ceiling, a higher potential.
And you said Drew Brown.
And I said Spencer Sanders, the young guy. I said,
what are you going to do if you're wrong?
I'm leaning more. I'm going to say the film is doctored up. the film
if
is
it's your voice?
I said Spencer Sanders.
I'm going to listen to my phone, guys, for a second.
I leaned more to Spencer Sanders because he was a younger guy, a better athlete, and I think we can grow and evolve with him. If it's a close race and a quarterback race, you always take the younger guy because you have more room, more time to work with him, and more time to prepare him, especially in the longer run. If you're looking big picture here, the season and then next season and the season's on to go. Now, I'm telling you right now.
I'm trying to find it on my phone and I can't. So.
I'm telling you right now, I was asked that question prior to OSU season, and the whole week I was saying I was leaning more towards Spencer Sanders.
I don't recall. We're gonna check the tape on that during the break, and I will come back, and I will prove him wrong.
Don't worry, you do a lot of TV. I wouldn't if you mix some things up, I wouldn't be mad.
But anyways, you do think it was the right decision to go with Spencer Sanders?
I think especially after the performance that he put up against Oregon State. I think there was no doubt in anybody's mind, especially if you're a guy that roots for the Cowboys, that Spencer Sanders was the guy, and Coach Gundy made the right call.
Okay. I mean, he's 74% completion percentage. I think he's got the better arm. I think people around the team know that, right?
It comes off it's a
does.
quick
It's
release.
pretty.
It flies off his arm, and because of that, we're able to do some creative things.
Does it bother you that Gundy did not use him last year at all?
No, and I hate when people bring that up because the fact of the matter, I'm just saying I don't like
that
when
is some people that fans would.
That's a lot of things that you've been hearing on Twitter, and people have been calling in the radio stations and radio shows and asking why didn't he play him last year. I mean, you can't ignore the evolution and the growth and the improvement from a true freshman to his redshirt freshman year. Does he always have that arm strength? Yes, he did always have that arm strength. Did he always have that knowledge of the offense? No, he didn't. Okay. And last year, Taylor Cornelius was the best option for that team. I believed it then, and I believe it now. This year, Spencer Sanders, it's his time.
Drew Brown at Hawaii, 62% completion percentage. Again, they're playing teams that are in the lower caliber right now, FCS opponents. I get that stats are going to be a little inflated. But you still have to be impressed with what you saw.
But I was impressed with both of the quarterbacks, Spencer Sanders and Drew Brown, when he got his opportunity to play. But you could see the difference between the two. You could see the fact that Drew Brown, when he had those running plays, and don't get us wrong, don't think that because Spencer Sanders is such an athlete that those are the plays that they were going to call for Spencer Sanders and Drew Brown has a different playbook. No, that's the offense that Sean Gleason wants to run. So the fact of the matter is, it looks better when Spencer Sanders is running it because he is a better athlete, because he's faster, because the ball comes off his arm just a little bit differently than it does Drew Brown. And you can't argue with that. You saw both of them play versus McNeese. You saw Spencer Sanders and you saw Drew Brown. There was this particular play where it was a quarterback scramble. Drew Brown just looked a lot slower than Spencer Sanders did. You can't argue with that.
Deny it.
You can't deny it.
Can't deny it. Let me pose this question. Is Tylan Wallace the best receiver in college football right now? Ooh. Coming off a game where he's got 5 receptions, looking smooth.
Yeah.
Over 100 yards easily.
I mean, but in this, okay, let me preface this by saying,
and there are a lot of good ones.
In this day in college football, there is a lot of great athletes at the wide receiver position. I mean, the kid from Colorado.
I have to look because it's so hard to pronounce. Laviska Shenault.
So Shenault from Colorado, great athlete. Even in this state alone, CeeDee Lamb. I mean, possibly the #1 receiver taken off the board in next year's draft. He's a great.
You think he'd be taking over Tylan Wallace?
I think just because of his physical build,
Okay.
I think more
He's a bit
scouts
taller.
would lean towards him
Okay.
than Tylan Wallace. But this is a different game. We're talking about production
Yep.
and yards and what
Production.
he does for his team. I mean, and then we haven't even mentioned the talent that the Clemson Tigers have. Alabama with Jerry Jeudy, the speed that guy has. I saw one run that he made this week, and he was flying. That kid is fast.
I think going into the season, everyone was sort of fixtured on Jerry Jeudy being the guy.
Right.
And I think, and Holly Rowe from ESPN has said this multiple times on Twitter, watch out for Tylan Wallace because he's that good. You just see him get screen pass, right, from Sanders in the last couple of games. Make people miss, and he goes for a touchdown when they're like 40 yards out.
Right.
He's taking a screen pass, and you're looking at it right now. It's just like he makes it look so easy.
And here's the thing. I think Tylan Wallace is going to have a better advantage than some of these guys that we're listing off, other than the kid from Colorado, because we don't really know the athletes that he has to share the ball with. Tylan Wallace has a great supporting cast. I mean, C.J. Moore and Jordan McRae, the kid that transferred from South Alabama.
And the backs.
And Chuba Hubbard and
so
many other players. But Tylan Wallace is the focal point of that offense. I don't think Jerry Jeudy is the focal point for the Alabama offense. With all the guys that Clemson has, they're going to have to share the ball a lot as well. CeeDee Lamb, I think he will be the focal point of that offense, but Lincoln Riley likes to do so many creative things that I don't think he's going to get as many targets as Tylan Wallace is. So I think at the end of the day and at the end of the year, I think Tylan Wallace is going to be the best wide receiver in the nation because of the fact that he's going to have more production than the rest of them.
All right, we'll see what happens. And a team that they're going to go up against this weekend would be the Tulsa Golden Hurricane.
Yeah.
Get their first win over the weekend against San Jose State. They obviously got demolished versus number 18 Michigan State in their opener. They had negative 73 yards rushing, which was pretty much unheard of.
Yeah, that was a rough one.
But they do come back. Shamari Brooks looks really good. TK Wilkerson looks good in the backfield. What can we learn? What have we learned so far from the Golden Hurricane through 2 games? They're 1-1 so far.
Oh, well, first off, defensively, because I am a former defensive back, and I like to go and, as far as importance.
Yes.
Defense. That defense is phenomenal. You saw the way they played against Michigan State. They put some people on notice, and for me, I looked at that and I was like, because we were thinking Texas is probably going to be the first test that OSU has to really prepare for and put their best foot forward. Then after watching that Michigan State game, I was like, no, Tulsa can play ball, especially on the defensive side of things. It was impressive that they were running so much man and were able to put so many guys in the box. If you're a team that can play man in college football, you have an advantage over everybody else, and that's exactly what they are doing. They got a lot of pass rushers. They got some guys in the middle that can do damage. What's his name? Number 15, Gibson.
Yeah, Travis Gibson.
He was eaten against Michigan State.
He ate a lot last year too, and it's been his goal to improve this year at that spot. He gets to the quarterback a lot, and actually today on head coach Philip Montgomery's press conference, he said Travis Gibson is our leader. He's not just the defensive leader, he's the team leader, and he sets the tone, and he does so many different things on the field. He's such a great leader. He's the key to their defense, and he got to the quarterback for Michigan State, and again at San Jose State. I think he's a good run stopper as well. So the defense, I know OSU has some great offense, but I think they can make it a little tricky and make it a game for a little bit, especially because of the defense.
I definitely agree with that. And I think we saw against Oregon State, that offensive line for OSU looked really good. They're going to have to face a nice defense and a nice defensive line for Tulsa. And I'm interested to see that battle in between those two individuals.
And I think at quarterback, Montgomery goes with Zach Smith over Seth Boomer. Smith obviously coming over from Baylor, where he played for Montgomery before. 67% completion percentage, had 2 touchdowns and an interception through 2 games. He's looked pretty good. I think he's fit the ball into some tight windows, especially in the second game versus San Jose State. It's only going to get better, and I think they did make the right call there.
And for me, I'm not concerned about Zach Smith. he's a good player. He's gonna get his. He's gonna take care of the ball. He's gonna be a very, very great asset for the Hurricanes. The question is their young, inexperienced offensive line. Are they gonna be able to keep him upright? Now, with inexperience comes challenges and mistakes. You saw that against Michigan State. Yep. They snapped the ball over his head. There were some
about 3 or 4 times. That's what happened with the negative 73 rushing yards.
Exactly. There were some inexperienced things and mistakes that were made there. Yep. That it's challenging, and you just have to, with young offensive lines, you just have to teach them, and they just have to grow and evolve together as a team throughout the season. It's early in that season right now,
sure.
So you're seeing a lot of mistakes.
So if I had to put you on the spot now, are you going with your Cowboys or are you going with the Golden Hurricane on Saturday?
That's not even a question. Go Pokes, Oklahoma State, all
what
day,
journalist you
every day.
No down the middle. At least you're open to it.
I'm just saying.
You're out there. When we come back, we're got a new segment that we're going to try out. We're going to talk about some alumni from the state of Oklahoma. Either they lived here, they were born here, and they go off to play college ball somewhere else, or they played college ball here. We're going to talk about them either in the NFL or college ball. That's coming up next here on Bravado Wireless. Stay with us.
Big wireless companies keep getting bigger and bigger, but their coverage where you live is still small. At Bravado Wireless, we provide the best unlimited talk, text, and data for only $40 a month. Right here in Eastern Oklahoma. You deserve to connect fast to your family, friends, and colleagues, wherever they are, with no interruptions and no excuses. Don't buy into big. Go bold. Go Bravado. Visit bravadowireless.com or visit one of our stores, where we make it easy to join our family. Bravado Wireless. We believe in the power of connection. Other wireless companies need 4-page brochures to explain plans that are too complicated and cost way too much. We are not like the others. We are Bravado Wireless. We offer one line of unlimited talk, text, and 4G LTE data for only $40 per month, with no minimum number of lines and no hidden fees. This is your year to be bold, connect fast at the best price. We live where you live, and we are proud to be a part of your community here in Eastern Oklahoma. We are Bravado Wireless, and we believe in the power of connection.
Everybody here at Muskogee Brewing Company, Jacob Toby, alongside my guy, Deion Amade, former OSU safety. Fun segment that we came up with ourselves. I think we're going to start talking about guys that were either born in Oklahoma and played at one of the Oklahoma schools, or that were not born in this state but still played at one of the Oklahoma schools, how they're doing either in college or the NFL. And a Tulsa guy, a North Tulsa guy that we were really excited about, that everybody knows has so much talent, but he slipped through the cracks a little bit.
Yeah. Not
getting recruited by Oklahoma or Oklahoma State that much, and his name is Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs, a tremendous story. I mean, a guy who, didn't have, like you just said, wasn't really recruited that heavily. I think he had like 3 offers at the end of the senior year. All of a sudden, his tape gets leaked, so to speak.
Straight up leaked.
And Alabama comes in with an offer. Then everybody else started jumping in. I think OU and a number of schools started offering him super late. He makes the decision to go ahead and go to Alabama. Has a tremendous career there. Has some injuries here and there, but becomes a very, very impressive NFL prospect, and had his first start last night. On Monday Night Football, and he did a great job. I mean, ran strong. Ran with intensity, ran the way we saw him perform at Alabama. 23 carries, 85 yards, 2 touchdowns. Counted 2 touchdowns.
That's pretty good.
On Monday Night Football. So he made a name for himself, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people back home are proud of him.
Yeah, when he got drafted, he opened up his suit jacket, and he had, basically art of a road, and he was talking about, that's where I'm from. Didn't really live anywhere. I lived on the road because his family was not that well off, and so he really struggled, but it's good to see him doing well with the Raiders. First running back taken in the draft in 2019, so that's pretty cool. My guy, though, was not born in Oklahoma, was not born here, but he did play for OU.
Really?
Yes, and the town that he was born in Florida, you know what that name was?
Hollywood.
No, so they call him Hollywood Brown, but Not Hollywood, California. Hollywood, Florida.
Okay.
This guy gets drafted by the Baltimore Ravens. Him and Lamar Jackson hook up. 4 receptions, 147 yards, 2 TDs, and the Ravens demolishing the Dolphins over the weekend.
Wait, I thought his quarterback was a running back.
Apparently not. I mean, you're looking at it right now. This dude was dynamite. Yeah, I understand he had some linebackers covering him, and he obviously is quicker than some linebackers.
I'll say.
But he's absolutely dynamite. In the 2 seasons he played at OU, over 1,000 yards easily, 17 total touchdowns between him going from Baker Mayfield to Kyler Murray. He was the number 1 guy here all along, and he's continuing to play that. It stinks that he wasn't 100% healthy versus Alabama in the Orange Bowl, because he really had nothing. And now you're seeing the talent, though, in the NFL, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy that was with tremendous speed.
Yeah.
There's one thing you can't coach.
I wrote that down in my notes, quick speed.
Quick speed. There's one thing you can't
pretty
coach.
simple, but.
You can't teach, it's speed.
Yeah.
And he has a lot of it, and you saw it on full display against the Dolphins in Miami.
Yeah, so some of the guys we'll be talking about as well. Josh Proctor with Ohio State, Mason Fine with North Texas. There are multiple guys in the NFL as well. Talk about Tyler Lockett with the Seattle Seahawks from Tulsa.
You can't forget about the Hill brothers.
The Hill brothers. And I'm sure
Justice Hill and Dax Hill.
Yeah, Dax Hill, Michigan State, Justice Hill on the Ravens with Hollywood Brown.
Exactly.
I'm sure we will be talking about him more as the season goes on. So we're excited to bring that segment to you guys here on Bravado Wireless. When we come back, final segment of the night, high school football.
Yeah.
We're talking about some 6A1 matchups and some 6A2 matchups as well. We'll talk about that when we come back.
You are called to be bold, to live out loud, to make the most out of every moment. You share these moments with your friends and family, side by side, across town and across the world. We are Bravado Wireless. We believe in the power of connection, coverage, speed, service, the latest technology. These aren't options. They're not special offers. They are obligations to you. We believe in building a community, your community. Bravado Wireless.
There is truly no place like home. Right here in Eastern Oklahoma, Bravado Wireless provides the best unlimited talk, text, and data for only $40 a month. We believe in strong, connected communities. That's why we live stream community events like local football games. You may not know us by name, but we'll be at the same festivals and cheering for our kids on the same sidelines. Because we live where you live. Visit bravadowireless.com or visit one of our stores, where we make it easy to join our family. Bravado Wireless. We believe in the power of connection.
All right, welcome back to Muskogee Brewing House. Jacob Toby alongside Deanna Mate. I know you do not want to leave me sitting here talking sports, but I'm sorry to say it's the last segment. I know you love talking to me about sports.
We can't. You sure we can't go like a little longer?
Maybe next show.
Okay.
Maybe we'll think of some more ideas for next show. Last segment, we always talk about high school football. We're going to go 6A, 6A1 just because it was such a big deal this past weekend. Bixby beats Jenks 57-7. You called Bixby games last year. You know what kind of team they have. Were you? I mean, how surprised were you? Because we were all very, very shocked that the Spartans demolished the Trojans.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I was. I was more surprised when Bixby went to Texas and beat a Mansfield team that was pretty impressive. I mean, I think they had about like 7 or 6 Division I athletes. So I knew they would beat Jenks. I didn't know how bad they would take it to Jenks. And it was pretty impressive, especially on a defensive standpoint.
Yeah.
I mean, offensively, they got the Presley brothers that are doing their thing, and those guys are
dynamite.
Amazing, especially in the one in the backfield, one playing wide receiver. I mean, Presley also playing cornerback and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So impressive that they have those 2 athletes, but defensively to almost shut out the Jenks Trojans and keep them to 7 points. That was impressive.
I mean, you think about the pedigree that Jenks has, right? I mean, Coach Alan Tremble, state championship after state championship after state championship. Bixby in a class that's just a teeny bit lower than 6A1. They just come in and blow the doors off. It's like it's pretty wild. Mason Williams, their quarterback, really, really good. He had 8 touchdowns versus Mansfield, Texas in their opener. He's a guy that can get it going. You talk about Brendan Presley and his brother Braylon. Brennan's going to Oklahoma State.
Yes, he
Mike
is.
Gundy recruited him for a reason and gave him a scholarship for a reason.
Exactly.
The dude is dynamite. He plays both ways. I think he'll stay on the offensive side of the ball for Oklahoma State. But he's got interceptions before in high school games. He's returned kickoffs. He's returned punts. The dude does everything.
He really does.
And is it safe to say that Bixby could beat just about anyone in the state?
I think with these last 2 weeks and their performances, I think it's solidified.
Yeah.
This team right here, they're no matter what division you're talking about, I think Bixby is the best team in the state, hands down.
I would love to see them match up with Broken Arrow,
Oh, I would love to see
defending
that.
6A1 state champs. Would you pay money to see that? Well, we wouldn't pay money because we're media. So.
Yeah, we get
free.
Pass,
We
you
get
know?
the pass.
Popcorn and stuff.
Of course. So this week is Jenks Union, and then Owasso Broken Arrow. Pretty big matchups as well.
And for a long time, this is very unusual. Both of these teams coming into the Backyard Bowl with losses.
Yeah.
Okay. I think Union lost to what was a BA.
Yep.
Last week.
14-0.
14-0. Jinx, we just talked about them. So it's going to be interesting to see how both of these teams bounce back in a high-profile game
sure.
and which one comes out with the victory.
For sure. We're also going to be talking about high school teams from around the Muskogee area as well, the McAllister area. As well as the season goes on, those games get a little bit better. As some of the Tulsa games, we see the biggest matchups at the beginning of the season, then it kind of starts to wear down until playoff time. So we'll talk about all the teams in the state coming up here on the End Zone. Any final thoughts you want to say to me before we shoot on out of here?
Yeah, I would like to say the Patriots aren't that good. They're not
Why
going
does
to
he
be
have to do
that
that?
good. Dallas Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl this year, and I hope you know it.
That's another discussion for another day when the Super Bowl rolls around. Hopefully we'll still be doing this show so we can debate it then.
Yeah, it sounds good to me.
Cool. Thanks to all our crew from Bravado Wireless. Thanks to Muskogee Brewing House. Great establishment. I've enjoyed my time here, right?
I've loved it.
Of course. So that's Deion Amade, former OSU safety. I'm Jacob Toby, just a nobody that's living in Oklahoma right now. So
You're somebody somewhere.
somebody somewhere. That is the End Zone here on Bravado Wireless. Thanks so much for watching, and hope to see you next week.